So we're going to start this week's episode with the news that I was just talking about as it pertains to Alabama basketball. So Nate Oates has officially hired Bryan Adams as his third assistant coach. And for anybody that follows along with the basketball team, you will know that the current two coaches that we have hired prior to Bryan being hired were Ryan Pannone and Preston Murphy. Both guys were on staff last season, were on the Final Four run, and the spot that he was filling was the spot that was given up by Austin Claunch when he took the UTSA job. And it was kind of well known that Austin Claunch was probably going to be taking a head job. You know, he had come from Nichols, had taken a step up in pay to be a coach under Nate Oates. And then when he was presented a UTSA job, he got he was willing to take that. He's a guy from Texas, so, he's back to his home roots. And so I thought that it's really, really good for him. So they replace him with Bryan Adams, and immediately what jumps off the page is Nate Oates now has his second NBA guy. He has Ryan Pannone, that's his NBA offensive mind, and now he adds Bryan Adams, that's an NBA defensive mind. Both guys coming from a player development background in the NBA. Adams has been in the NBA over 10 years, coached under Doc Rivers mostly and in that organization, but has had a lot of experience with different organizations, be it G League and the full NBA, and, just brings a level of experience and maturity to the coaching staff that I think is really, something that they really were looking for. They were looking for a guy that focuses on defense at the level that Pannone focuses on offense. And what this has done is this adds Nate Oates three of the best people at their position in the entire country. You have Ryan Pannone, for anybody that knows him, he watches tons and tons of film. He's just a guru when it comes to offense. You add in Bryan Adams, that Pannone has set himself as just kind of his level, just a guru when it comes to defense. And then you have Preston Murphy that's, potentially the best recruiter in all of college basketball. So you've got those three guys, under Nate Oates, and it just has built like an absolute dream team staff. This is, in my opinion, easily the best staff that Nate Oates has had his entire time coaching, not just at Buffalo, but obviously here at Alabama. And I think that this, coupled with the team that he has this season, filling the voids that were missing last season when it comes to defense, when it comes to perimeter, when it comes to the interior, I think that the additions of Cliff Amore, the additions of like a Chris Youngblood, giving you a little bit more physicality. You have your incoming freshmen with Darian Reed and Aiden Sherrill. I think that the combination of all of these guys are really going to put together a team that's going to be a tough out this season, and I'm really excited for what is to come. I want to give a couple of quick quotes that were put out by Alabama, and I'm going to pop them up here on the screen as well. But a quote by Doc Rivers: "I'm very excited for Bryan and the University of Alabama. Bryan's the perfect fit for the team and Nate's staff. He's an incredible defensive mind on top of having high character and being a hard worker. Roll Tide." And then Monty Williams goes, "Bryan's a high character, loyal, and Roll Tide type of dude. He's loyal and will make Crimson Tide Nation proud with his ability to relate and elevate the young men who hoop for Alabama." So the big thing, obviously, to note here, both guys talk about his loyalty, both guys talk about his character, and I think that's something, obviously, that Nate Oates is looking for when you talk about his staff. Pannone was on the Crimson Crossover podcast, and they asked, what did they think that Bryan Adams was going to bring to the staff, and, he often talks about, they want a good person, right? Because Nate's as good a person as they come. And so you need somebody that's a good person, but then you also need somebody that knows basketball. And it's very clear that Bryan Adams knows basketball, and he brings in a defensive specialty that the other coaches on the staff don't have. And so obviously it fills out in a position that is just a perfect fit for Alabama. So I'm really excited what he's going to bring. I plan to do a little bit of research and, write about some of his past stops and what they were able to accomplish at some of his past stops. So if you are interested in that, like I said, follow along on the Substack. That'll be coming out here in the coming, probably the coming months. I don't know that I'll be able to get it out here in the next week or two, but, it's something to be able to look out on the horizon. So the next thing I want to move to